The nominations. Josh, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Well, since it's such a great tie-in, my first one is Castle Illusion. So,
oh, we do have an overlap.
I told you, there's not enough games in here for us not to have any overlap. That was a very poor prognosis.
Fair enough.
And then I have Hellfire is my selection out of that just kind of jumble fuck of flying shmups or shooters. I guess there's also the skimmer one I like. That was in the very beginning of the mag. That's not Whip Rush. What the fuck is it? Their name? No, not Granada's the tank one.
Thunder Force 3.
No, Thunder Force is also Thunder Force is the Life Force one that I really. No, Hellfire is the Life Force. I see this. I can't.
See, I'm like
Hellfire's good. Hellfire's good. That's all you need to know. It's a shooter. It's good. We should play it. And then I have Shadow Dancer.
I knew it.
Shinobi. I think it's one of those tent poles that we haven't experienced. That so it's a new play for both of us, and it's just I think an integral part of the Genesis experience that we would be remiss to ignore. And then Hard Driving, as I said, I don't know how much it works for this, but it's so fun I can't not say it. So those are my four. So I did pare it down a little. I think I had some others in there originally. So
wow,
narrow it down a little. So those are my four. What do you got?
Well, I started out with, since I already mentioned it, Castle of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse. Definitely, it's funny though, playing that game, I feel like I'm remembering a different Mickey game. Because, like, there's been some solid Mickey games over the years, and I feel like playing it, I'm remembering a different one, and maybe this game I never got to play, so
I think
it's like,
Genesis, I think Genesis also has Fantasia, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know. I started playing it and thought, this does not seem familiar at all. Like, there's no familiarity. So, anyway, excited for that one.
It would be new for me as well, so I'm on board with that idea.
Second would have been Raiden, or Raiden Trad. Doesn't sound like it's out, but purely because, again, it is the beginning game of the game that I play now, which is a blast. It's a little slower than other flying shooters. Like, I know that, obviously, playing it 3 or 4 now is a much, everything's faster, everything moves quicker. This is a much earlier version, but still be cool to check that out. And then last, because it was listed there, Truxton for the flag shooters.
Truxton's in there. Truxton's in there. What have we done any of the Genesis shooters yet? Well, we did
Felios.
Yeah, we did Felios. So
that's definitely a flag.
Again, I'm just like I'm Truxton's before that, so it's more formative, I suppose. So there is still like that historical component of Truxton. That is an angle for advocating it.
But then the obvious overlap.
Castle Illusion. I don't know if I have. I don't know what. hearing all that. What's your core inclination?
I mean, it feels like we should do a flying shooter, because there's so many of them more, just because that's just what is out on the platform at that time.
Just to get it off our fucking plate.
Yeah.
So we can stop. Then if we do that, we'll stop nominating this whole subset, and that's probably good.
We can just say we're done between all of them. Like we've done multiple. We're good.
That's a good, very, very, very practical approach.
But then, like at the same time, I don't know, because I didn't have a Genesis later on. Like I don't know what other games come out like next year in 91, 92. Like I don't know if there's some other game.
There'll be plenty.
Like
shooters aren't going anywhere. There'll be other shooters later on. If we're not gonna wall ourselves off from flying shmups. I don't think you got to worry about that for a long time.
just the subset that we've seen in this same grouping.
We'll be dead, Jay, before we get to an episode on this podcast where flying shmups, because we've talked about how those kind of went away. Where the hell did they go? We'll be dead before we get there in the timeline. So don't worry, worry about that.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't really remember their Hellfire one. I know I have it. It just again.
I think I'm pretty sure Hellfire is the Life Force one, the one that I keep comparing to Life Force.
I see.
Yeah, I'm probably wrong. It's probably Thunder Force. But how would you possibly?
Right, how do we know?
Because here's the thing:
figure out which one it is.
I can remember the ad for Thunder Force being the one with the Phoenix. So there's fire, right? There's fire in that ad.
There is
It's
fire.
it's one of the Phoenixes chasing.
But
the
Hellforce
shit
has fire too, though.
Well, it must Hellfire. The name is Hellfire. That's what I'm saying. So exactly. So the name fire or the word fire is in this, but Thunder Force is the one with the ad that has a fire vibe to it. So yeah, like who knows, man? Who knows? Well, I just know it's good.
Oh man, yeah. I'm fine with a shooter of some kind.
Okay.
Or Mickey Mouse, either one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good either.
It's kind of where I'm at too. Like I feel like Shadow Dancer will be there for me to argue for later on as well. So I'm not worried about skipping over that for the time being. And I also want. They didn't have it here. Gotta wait till it's in Game Pro with Substance too, so we get some maps. If they're not gonna give, I mean, you would think Sega would give us some maps. I mean, they had some screenshots of some light tips, I think, but again, some maps to help you through with this fucking thing. So like a more in-depth mag piece for that game is something I think I want. So again, I'm also into waiting for that. Castle of Illusion, I don't feel like will be important to have that. They can tell us it's not Kid Gloves, but it's still going to be pretty linear, I think.
It still might be, yeah.
Not that fucking Shinobi games aren't linear. It's very left to right. No, there's a little bit of verticality to it, I suppose. Going down into those, like, remember there was like the house you went into the hole, and you could go the subterranean route on. So there's a little bit that maps would be helpful for, probably, but in any case. So yeah, I feel like I could play Castle of Illusion without a more in-depth piece and not feel bad about it on that same logic. And it's like we said, there's going to be another, like, I think you're right about that there is another one. And I can picture the Fantasia key art, like that's on the fucking Fantasia movie on a Genesis box in my head. No problem. So I'm pretty sure that exists, which means we are going to click over to another one of these that you would love to have this off our plate before we get to, in the same way we would want that to be like for a Mario game or something. So that's a pretty good argument for that. And I'm sure, despite, again, the not Kid Glove thing, it probably isn't that stressful.
That's what I was thinking. It did feel a little slightly simpler than I would have expected, but maybe I didn't experience it. I played it for a very short amount of time.
Exactly right. I'm sure it ramps up to some degree. But yeah, it's such a beautiful game. It'll probably just feel fun. And we haven't done any Mickey Mouse or Disney stuff other than the DuckTales, I think. Yeah, so we haven't done a ton of Disney, and that probably deserves some attention for this time era too. So maybe that. Yeah, I could live with that. If you want to do that, I'll do that.
Castle of Illusion.
Sold. Okay, word. So we will play Castle of Illusion featuring Mickey Mouse on the next episode as a game up.